What's up, Dallas? It's your girl, Rachel. We have another fabulous guest on my show this evening, Mr. Bilal. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. It's such an honor to have Bilal on my show. Now, let me just tell you, he and I have history, but it's always positive and it's always a beautiful history. Bilal is one of my beloved photographers, so we've shot several times together and we came up with some really amazing ideas. And I value his creativity and his style. So during this interview, when before we got on here, I wanted to give him his accolades because he's really out there doing some amazing work, and he's got a whole journey behind his photography. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So Valayo, how did you get started in photography?
Well, I think I could. Well, my dad used to do a little bit of photography, and then I joined a photography club in school, and I also kind of worked on the yearbook staff and the
Mhm.
newspaper staff in high school. So it was kind of fun. And then going on summer trips with my family, we always had a camera. So it's just kind of something I picked up for a little while. Then I dropped it, and then I was like, I think I want to kind of get back into it. And so that's what happened. And then I just became really more fascinated with it.
Mhm. Now, your particular style is elegant, but also unique. The styles that your models wear. So you are stylist. You do style your models. You do come up with concepts. So tell
Some of
me,
them,
mhm,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna, on some of my models, I do style, and some of them already have things. And I think just seeing people in a different look of clothing that they don't already have. And like I said, I have a collection of stuff where women and men have given me clothing. So I try to use some of that or just when I pick up stuff. So my next style and shoot I would like to do is take somebody to the thrift store and we shop on a budget, maybe take $50 in there and come on out and take that $50 outfit and then do a photo shoot afterwards. Yeah.
Man, that sounds like so much fun. And I'm a thrifter, so I understand the concept behind that, that there's so much hidden style in thrift
Mhm.
stores, a lot of forgotten textures, a lot of forgotten, what do you call it? Um,
There is, but well, women, y'all have a little bit more, I think, especially because of shoes and things. Men, I mean, depending on the type of shoe you like or whatever, for me, it's hard to find shoes in a thrift store.
mhm,
So I just buy mostly the clothes and shirts and jackets and things like that. Mhm.
mhm.
So now I'm also trying to learn how to sew.
That is something I'm still working on myself. I just started picking that up. I started learning how to upcycle certain things. So, like for instance, I have a pair of pants that I maybe modeled
Uh-huh.
before, and I feel like I could turn it into something new. That's what my goal is right now.
Okay.
I just successfully turned a pair of pants into a skirt.
Okay.
And, it's not like a full wraparound skirt, it's kinda
Mhm.
got the little triangle in the front, so it could accommodate any type of texture, underneath it, and I was just like, "Wow, what am I gonna do with this? This is so exciting, I can play with it."
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a definitely one of the crafts that you gotta learn, but,
Yeah.
also with, like, photography, it's a craft. It's a like, something that you have to learn, you have to teach yourself. So, as a photographer, what's your favorite part?
Meeting new people and being able to travel. Like I'm about to travel to New York and Jersey. And
Mhm,
I'm just going to do some TLP shoots while I'm in New York. I'm going to mainly shoot up around the Brooklyn Bridge
mhm,
and Newark, and I'm not sure where I'm going to shoot, but I think the fun part about it is just meeting interesting people and seeing that we're all people. We just have different styles and things like that. So which make us all unique as an individual, things like
mhm.
that.
Well, that is true. We are all individuals, and I did learn this, through watching your photography and everything. It's like you have an eye for detail, like a certain type of earring that a model may wear, or a certain type of way that she may style her hands and stuff. So, how did you learn to style models? I mean, like position them.
looking at a lot of YouTube channels, just going through Pinterest, looking at different things like that, and also looking at magazines. I get a ton of magazines, and then here at work, we have magazines that come in. So I look at the magazines and I'll scan something that I want and just hold on to it and try to use that as an example. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. You're using the like what everybody calls them inspo.
Yep.
Pinterest has really great options and everything. So I want to tell everybody I really enjoyed shooting with you.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
I kind of want to normalize, the relationship between photographers and models.
Mhm.
Okay, because there's a lot of models on our show that have watched our show or have been on our show. A lot of photographers who've been in the industry. So I want to kind of speak about the importance of building that relationship. So, from your experience, what with that type of relationship, why do you think it's so important for a model to build that relationship with the photographer?
Yeah, I guess I've never really thought about that, but I think as people, we need to build some type of relationship together so we all can be comfortable. Even like shooting a person for the first time,
Mhm.
you're gonna always be nervous, and they're not gonna know what to expect. But for me, I feel like I'm an easygoing photographer that's really laid back, and I'm not one of those that's gonna press you or say, "Hey, don't do this or don't do that." I remember back in the day that I had a young lady that I was photographing. And I kept trying to tell her about her angles and things, and there was different parts that she shouldn't be doing as a woman, and she got pissed off at me. So I was like, you know what? From now on, I need to make sure that I have a great relationship with the person that I'm going to photograph and let them understand me that I'm very comfortable, very easygoing. I don't get mad very easily, but if I keep trying to tell you something, well, this young lady didn't want to listen, so that was all that was to it. So, but most of the people that I've ever worked with, we have a great communication and understanding, and that we can work together. So yeah,
Absolutely. And I kind of second that. Actually, not I really second that. You have to really build that relationship with the photographer in order for the pictures to come out phenomenal.
yeah,
And I've been shooting with some photographers that really made me feel uncomfortable. Like they were just straightforward to the point, like, no, don't do that, don't do that. No, I don't want you to smile. Like it's almost like they had a certain idea where they didn't want your personality to come out
yeah.
and or to make you smile because maybe they were thinking, models aren't supposed to smile. But I don't know.
And this is what I'll do. Like I say, okay, let's do one of each. So maybe I really don't want that smiling picture, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it. But I'm also say, hey, let's try it this way. Let's do our hands this way. And tell, especially for a woman, not to hold your stomach. Don't do like that. You got to give yourself that S angle. So you'll
Mhm.
have that S position where it goes into the curve. And then a lot of women already know that. Then I have some that are beginners who really don't know. So it's all about teaching them. And then once you tell them, oh, wow, that felt really good. I appreciate you helping me with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I always appreciated it. You're like, "Hey, Rachel." And like when we do our shoots and stuff, because I've had children. Us women, we have that mom pouch.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. We have this mom pouch that's just there. It just doesn't go away. Maybe you had surgery or something, it just doesn't go away. But whenever you have that relationship with the photographer and say, "Hey, look at this picture," which is what you did with me before. Look at this picture. What do you think we can do different to make this look better? And then, I would position myself a little bit more, maybe like kind of shift my hip to the different side or whatever. I really appreciated that because it made me see the photo in a different,
Yeah.
perspective.
It's so as a photographer, you don't want to put a bad picture out there. And of course, the
Mhm.
model don't want a bad picture, seeing yourself in a different way. And then you're like, oh man, that's unflattering. Why didn't he tell me that? So always, like I say, I'm all about details. And like I said, if I see something or the angle is not right, I'm gonna take that picture and I'm gonna show it to you. And then when you see it, you'll say, oh, okay, yeah, I do need to do this. And like I say, that builds a great relationship there too, because then they see that, oh, he's just not trying to put me out here, make me look any kind of way. It's about making me look good and be my best at what I do. And like they say, you're going to be a model. We're going to have some angles that's going to hurt and that's going to be tough. And you're going to have to do it. Like I shot a guy not long ago and I gave him a pair of my shoes that I don't even wear anymore. But for the outfit that he had on, I said, this shoe will be perfect. He said, man, that's gonna be
Mhm.
tight. I said, you're only gonna be in it for a few minutes. I said, if you're trying to be a model, and this is what they do in real life, your feet will hurt.
You gotta make it work. Anything for that angle, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, Belial, you and I, we've been in the business for quite some time. We've been in the industry, in the community, photographer and model community. So, for our viewers out there, can you tell them some of the struggles that you've had experienced as a photographer in DFW?
When I first started out, I asked a couple of people, some people don't want to help you.
Mhm,
And they think that you're going to steal their clients. So I can't steal somebody from you when I don't even know what I'm doing, especially if
mhm,
I really didn't even know manual. I never
mhm,
shot in RAW. I always shot in JPEG, and I shot in automatic. And I actually reached out to somebody who lived in a totally different city that was in a photography group that I was in, and I needed really help. And they helped me, and they said, "What do you shoot?" Then I said, "I shoot automatic." And he told me, "If you don't get out of automatic and start learning to shoot manual, I'm gonna come down there and choke you." And I was like, "Okay." So it's a struggle because like some people don't want to help you, but like I say, if you're nice enough and they have to realize that, hey, I'm not here to take your clients. I'm only here to learn because you may know something that I don't know. And
mhm,
sometimes I still struggle with shooting natural light. And so
mhm,
when I'm in New York, I'm only gonna have one light, and that's just the light that goes on my speed light on my camera. So
mhm,
I've been trying to practice every day before I go there, just shooting in natural light so I can
mhm.
be better at it. So when I'm in New York, I'm gonna get the best pictures I can.
Absolutely. And I do love your portfolio. I love all the models you work with. And I kind of spotlight your men's photography group and model group. So I've been in there and I seen that y'all are celebrating each other as men in the industry. It's like you're finding ways to uplift each other in the industry. So tell me why you started that group.
Well, actually, I did not start that group. Um, There was another guy who was a moderator of that group, and he added me to that group probably like 3 years ago, maybe
Mhm,
four, and I never really did anything. And then when I started really saying, "Hey, I really want to get into this," then we as men need to be able to support one another. So I was like, okay, well, let me just really get this group going and get it started. And so my administrator, Travis Winter, who is an
mhm,
awesome guy. He's a model and he does really great work. Uh, Hopefully, I'll get to meet him on my New York trip and things like that. So I give him kudos because when I don't get to do anything, he's posting and making sure that everything goes right. And I think there was another group that I was in the Dallas group. They just kind of faded out. I really would like to get more people. And I would like to add some females in there so we can get some feedback. There's a few. Um,
mhm,
even if you just a female photographer and you like
mhm,
photographing males, that we photograph everybody, but come in and
mhm,
give us your feedback and things like that. And the brothers that post in that group are all phenomenal. We have a
mhm.
handful that really come in and post. And like I say, we try to celebrate everybody and what they do, congratulate them and stuff like that. So it's about giving back and helping each other out. It doesn't matter what race, what size you are. We want you all in there and we want to give you that your pat on the back.
Absolutely. And I commend that too, because I feel like, there's always these women empowerment groups. There's always these women supporting women, but it's almost like the men get lost in translation and they almost like they have to fend for themselves sometimes.
Well, especially in
So,
the modeling business, you do
mhm,
because you see more women in the modeling business. And then the
mhm,
men are really kind of pushed back. So, but the men are really trying to push forward. Yeah, you get to do the Calvin Klein underwear and jean sets, but they're really wanting to get out there. And like I say, I look at some of the famous designers like Mason Margiela, I love him. I really would
Mhm.
like to follow in his footsteps and do some concepts that he does with the clothing
Mhm.
and things. But I know we won't have the shoes, but you can always create the outfit to do something, and just do your own version of it.
Mhm.
Like that, yeah.
Absolutely. I also second that too. I don't think we have enough male models in the industry that are actually making themselves seen.
Yeah.
So, for our audience out there, Bilal and I have done some model meetups over the course of the past, I wouldn't probably say almost 3 years, Bilal, right?
Yeah. It's
It's
been
been
about
it's
3 years. Yeah.
been about 3 years. And the women models are like a dime a dozen. Just gonna say, I can't say all of them are actual models, but there's more women who really want to be modeled to be seen. But there are so many male models out there that have so much talent. I really wish they would bring it to the forefront because, you know, um, let's normalize male models right now. I really have to. I have to give my accolades to all the male models that I've connected with. But if they understood how much of an impact they're making in the industry, just being male models, um, I think they should stand up for it. I really do. Come on, guys.
I, I definitely want to give the Male Model Photography Lounge the
Mhm,
props because, like I say, we have some brothers in there that are phenomenal that are being on the cover of magazines or walking runways and things like that. So,
mhm.
I think for them, they're doing an awesome job, and I'm glad to have them a part of my group.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Shout out to you guys out there because you are doing your thing. Thanks for supporting each other because it's not being unseen. We see you for sure. So, Bilal, I do want to ask you, so in your journey as a photographer, what has been your favorite genre of photography so far? Because you have different genres, different types of photography. What has been your favorite?
I don't know if I just have one favorite because I love photographing everything. To be honest, I've done a little bit of everything from weddings, fashion, shooting Dallas Fashion Week, to doing boudoir shots, doing
Hmm.
semi-nude shots, news. I've done it all. So
Hmm.
to me, it's all, I enjoy it all. So it's like I say, it's about meeting interesting people, and people come up and ask you, hey, can you shoot me this way? Will you do this? I'm open. I'm an
Hmm.
open-minded artist. So I think if we shortchange ourselves, then we won't become the people that we need to be. We need to be open-minded and
Hmm.
don't frown up on somebody because they shoot this or they shoot that way, or they may shoot more males or they may shoot more females.
Hmm.
Like I say, we're all God's children. And at the end of the day, or when it's time for us to go, we bleed the same color blood. So we need to learn to connect and be open-minded with one another.
Absolutely. I do agree with all of that you just said. Supporting each other really goes a long way, especially, in a community that needs support. I often feel like when it comes to the photography industry and the modeling industry, I feel like a lot of people tend to misuse the resources. Like, for instance, not giving credit where credit is due,
Yeah,
or, you know, just telling a woman or a male to come model because they have, you know, accessories.
yeah.
We'll just put it that way. What is a piece of solid advice that you can give to an aspiring photographer out there?
Just keep studying and just stay focused and don't give up
Mhm.
because I almost
I
gave up. So, after people were saying, "Oh no, I won't be able to do this and I won't be able to do that." But one of my best people who was a photographer was a woman, and she helped me get to where I am today. So I'm very thankful for her. Hmm.
absolutely. And I do kind of want to flash back to your first statement that you said that your dad used to do photography. So,
Yeah,
is there a particular camera he used at that time?
Nikon.
A Nikon?
Back then They were all fake. My dad, he shot film, and then when he did move over to digital, it was just a point and shoot because he had given it all up and stuff like that. That's how I learned how to do the dark room and develop my own film and things like that because he was doing his, and I kind of learned a little bit like that. And then digital came over, and so going back to the dark
Mhm.
room, I can't even tell you what I'd have to do. Yeah.
Do
So.
you kind of miss like doing the dark room experience, like the what is it, the feeling of seeing the images come out
Well,
as you're
I'm gonna probably say no, is because I really didn't get to do it a whole lot. So
Mhm,
as far as that, but it was fun because even when I was taking it in school, we had dark room. We didn't have digital. So, you think about it in seventh, eighth grade, photography and Dr. Ramirez, who was our photography teacher, I'll never forget, he would always tell us, don't turn that light on, this is what, so it was interesting. So yeah, I didn't really get to do a whole lot of it because then that's when I really started getting into the digital. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was not at any point towards photography at that point, but I can imagine that whole experience of,
Yeah.
getting the picture to develop because I've seen some videos,
Hmm.
but I'm not really too familiar with it. So I'm not sure if people miss that process or not. But
No, because well, I'm not going to say that they miss it because there's a lot of photographers out here are still using film, and
Mhm,
some of them still do their own processing and things like that. But like I say, I just don't have the space in my house to want to have that all set up to do that
mhm,
because I'm already trying to renovate and really turn my front room into a bigger shooting space eventually.
mhm. I believe that, everybody has their own niche, everybody has their favorites, and I do kind of want to say that if you're a photographer and you limit yourself on your skills, you're limiting your possibility of clients being able to be reached.
Yeah.
So, I just do photography freelance. Like I'm not professional by all means, but I'm trying.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying. I'm learning.
Yeah. Like I say, it's a learning process. So, it's not something that you're gonna get overnight. So, like I say, you just have to keep practicing and playing around with it. So, like I look at YouTube all the time. I pull up
Mhm,
something and like, using my speed lights. I asked a question the other day on YouTube. How do I need to shoot outside? What settings do I need to try to use and things like that? So I'm always looking up something.
absolutely. So we're just basically saying try your craft. If you don't go out there and do it, you're never going to know what you're capable of.
That's
So,
true.
that is so, so true. And Bilal, we have a segment on our show where we like to address the youth in the community. So, if there is a young youth out there that wants to be a photographer, what is some solid advice that you can give them or something that you've learned on your walk?
We'll get you a good mentor that's going to show you and stay focused. Don't worry about trying to get the most expensive camera because, just learn off of what you have and, get you a couple of lenses, get you some kit lenses and just play with that. Because, over the years, I bought a lot of glass that I don't even use half of the time and things like that. So, I wish when I was starting out, I wish I'd have known that a little bit better. Don't buy all the glass and things like that. Just get what you need and start with that. A 50 millimeter and a 85 is a good thing right now just to start out with. Then when you really feel like that you have advanced to whatever you need to do, then go out and buy you some more glass. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's very solid advice. You got to start from somewhere. And
Yeah.
there's always people who be like, well, I have to have the nicest camera. I have to have this camera. Like, but no, that's not true. There are people that are still shooting with the same camera that they started with who
Yeah.
make amazing photos
It's
because they
true.
learned that camera.
Yeah.
So, man, oh man, I just want to tell you, I just want to thank you for being on my show. Like,
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for
I've seen
having
your
me.
journey. Yeah, of course, absolutely. I have enjoyed our journey, just like us building our friendship over the years, the trust that we have between each other. As you being a dependable photographer, you're creative, you have beautiful images, you're very professional, and I just want to give you your accolades for that. because being a model in this industry, you can't really trust every photographer. But
Yeah.
when you have your favorites, you have your favorites.
And then, but like I say, we got to respect each other's time and things, and like we think we're getting the right people and then they don't show up on us or no call, no show, then that puts a bad taste in the photographer's mouth. And, he doesn't want to work with that person or anything like that. But one thing I
Mhm.
always try to build a great relationship and just say, hey, if you're not going to be able to make it, give me a call, and don't wait 15 minutes before, we get ready to shoot. Because, I've either planned this time or taken a half a day to do my shoots and things like that. So, and there's a lot of times I just take off and I say, hey, I want to do a shoot. I want to do it at this time of the morning. So yeah,
Mhm. And
yeah.
I agree with that. Communication and professionalism is across the board. I there's a lot of models, aspiring models and stuff out there. So you being a photographer in the industry, what are some things specifically besides showing up on time that a model can do to make an impression on a photographer? Like,
Come prepared. Don't have your clothes wrinkle. Because I've had photographers, I mean, not photographers, I've had people where they just had their clothes folded up in a bag. You got to realize you're about to be photographed. So have your things in a garment bag, have your brush and your makeup. So if you have to do all that, just come prepared. That's the best advice you can get because otherwise it's not going to come out right in front of the camera.
mhm.
So,
And that really goes a long way too. A lot of the models that I've networked with have asked me like, "Hey, Rachel, what's some really solid advice that you can give me?" And I was just like, "Look, you need to be as professional as possible. Like, if they're asking you for 3 or 4 outfits, you can come with 6, but you can still change up that outfit.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, you can make 20 different outfits with
It's
5
like
with
like
like."
Steve Harvey said, you only need 5 suits, and you can
Mhm,
you can make 10 out of that 5 suits. Yeah,
absolutely. And also, like, if you alter the shoes, you can change the look of the outfit altogether. Shoes make a big difference.
yeah.
And you're a shoe guy. I know you are. Okay. Um, if you ever see Belial's stories, his Facebook, he is really into the shoes. So tell me why shoes are so important for style.
Well, let me give you my background on shoes.
Mhm,
Growing up, watching my uncles and my grandfathers back in the day, they were wearing leisure suits, alligator shoes, and things like that. And I just always liked that. And then when it comes to a woman, back in the day, they didn't have a lot of strappy shoes on. They had pointed toe stilettos on that just made your ankles look good, your thighs look good. And it was just something about shoes that just turned me on. And so I
mhm.
always said when I get to be their ages, I'm gonna have these kind of shoes, but not knowing they're going to be getting older and I'm still young. I'm gonna be the shoes that they were having are going to be out of style. But that's how I became a shoe person. Just looking at my uncles and aunts, and then I started buying my own collect. I knew the shoes that I wanted. I knew I had to have a job. They would
Mhm.
buy me shoes and things like that. That would be nice. But when you want alligators and all these and things, you have to get a job. So I love shoes, and I just think a great shoe on a man, a great shoe on a woman makes a whole outfit.
It really does. It's also a statement piece too,
Yes,
and a conversation piece.
yes.
Okay, so I've noticed this too. Like whenever I'm going out and I see people walk in, like at my restaurant, I see people walk in from the door and they come straight up to me. I'm analyzing their outfits, but the one thing that I appreciate on a woman is her shoes. Okay, because I have a whole shoe collection, and you can even ask my husband this. He's probably like, "Oh my gosh, like she doesn't need any more shoes." Like I want to say like 200 pairs of shoes,
Okay.
boots, about heels. I'm a heels and boots girl. That's what I like to wear whenever I'm not working.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate a pretty pair of shoes or a statement piece because they do make or break an outfit. They really
Yes.
do.
But one thing that will break an outfit on a woman, if your toes are hanging over your shoes.
Mhm.
So that, so like I say,
Mhm.
your shoe needs to fit and
Mhm.
not be hanging over the edge of that shoe and things like
Mhm.
that. So yes.
And I will say for men too, because I think back in the 70s a lot. Men they wore hats,
Yeah.
a nice watch, and a nice pair of shoes. And they used to wear slacks and a button-up shirt. And it really made or break his whole character. Like, I think women respected men who dressed up nicer and took care of themselves more than seeing a guy that was slouching.
Yeah.
Um, so I think culturally, men are more respected and women are more respected if they take care of themselves. Like you can be from a like let's just say a poor background, but if you go to a job interview with a nice pair of shoes, nice pair of pants, your shirt is not wrinkled, like you have a nice jacket, you could have even got it from the thrift store. It don't matter. But if you are looking nice, like you took care of yourself, you made an effort, you're more likely to get hired. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, I shine every time, whenever I put a pair of shoes on, I always shine my shoes. So I never leave home without a shine shoe. Yeah. So it's just about taking care of putting them back in the boxes, putting them back in the shoe bags and things like
Mhm.
that. So yeah, just like I say, just take care of a man should have a nice shoe. If you're doing a photo shoot, don't let your heels be ran over. Just kind of keep them polished. You
Mhm.
can get you
Take it.
a little buffer
Mhm.
rag, whatever that is. That's a sponge with the oil on there, and just shine it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm. I agree. I agree. Just take care of your shoes because, and also as a photographer, as Belial as a photographer, he's more a photographer than I am. But the camera lens will pick up everything. Okay. So I do want to kind of reiterate for models out there, also bring a lint brush because them cameras, they will pick up everything. Everything. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Well, I really enjoyed having you on my show. I feel like it was long overdue, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got to do this today.
Well, like I said, I definitely appreciate it. It was awesome being on the show and everything, and I look forward to seeing the interview.
Absolutely. So, for all of our viewers out there, can you tell them where to find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. I am Bilal Allen. That's IamBilalALAN. Facebook, you can find me under Bilal Allen, which is just Bilalalalan. And also on Instagram, you can find me under Bilal Allen Style.
Absolutely. Y'all, please go follow him and support him. He's got really great photography, very elegant style. And, it's so creative to see everything he comes up with. And man knows how to style too. I'm just saying he can dress it up. I seen him. I've seen him. So you're a force to be reckoned with, by the way. So
I try to do a little something, something.
I understand that 100%. So everybody, this concludes our interview with Valio. Please go follow What's Up Dallas magazine all across the board social media. So we're bringing all the talents, businesses, and positivity to DFW. All right, guys. See you for the next episode. Bye.
All right, thank you.